Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland Advocate. Well, my fellow Californians, you are paying the highest grocery prices in America. And I just found the proof. Okay, here in the Bay Area, we have some of the most expensive groceries in the country. And this comes out from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And they keep statistics on food costs around the country. And so anyway, here's the interesting fact: the average U.S. household spends $270 a week in groceries. That's across the board. They spend $270 a week on groceries. But here in California, California spends $298 a week for that same family. Doesn't sound like a significant amount of money, but $28 is a significant amount of money when you're on a tight budget. I mean, it means a difference between having oatmeal and starvation. So the next most expensive state besides California was Nevada, our next door neighbor, and they were at $278 a week, so just $8 above the national average. So, but yet they are still affected by high grocery costs, and you start looking at what is in Nevada. They have no growing region, so to speak. California is blessed with lots of growing regions throughout this entire state. So it is somewhat surprising to see that we do pay more, even though a good amount of the fruits and vegetables uh, come from California. And a lot of wines come from California. So there are a lot of factors that should point out that say the food costs less here in California, and it doesn't. But it doesn't surprise me because you look at how the refineries are set up here in California. Uh, the closer you are living to the refinery, the more expensive gas tends to be, and that has the least amount of travel. But yet, that same fuel, you go down to travel 90 minutes to San Jose, price drops about 12 to 18 cents. So why is that? You know, you say, well, it costs money to transport. Well, why is it so much more expensive for Oakland or Pinole or Richmond, um, Emeryville, San Francisco? Why is it more expensive? The fuel. So anyway, you're paying more for groceries. Not that you didn't already know that, because every time you go to a grocery store, you know, I don't know about you, but I spend at least $290 every time I go to a grocery store. But it's just me. So they were basing that upon a family of four, uh, husband, wife, and two children. It's myself. Uh, I eat better. You know, to eat healthy costs a little bit more, and so I buy meats, more fish and shrimp, shellfish. I buy chicken and turkey more. While those are lower cost proteins, they are still not cheap. And then um, pork. it is another meat that I use heavily, but I substantially cut back on red meat. And um, if you followed my last video talking about my colon cancer and some concerns that the doctors had, and the doctors line of questioning when I was diagnosed with colon cancer, what was your diet like from this period to this period, and then all the way through. And the one thing that was consistent was a heavy red meat diet. And so I removed that heavy red meat diet, put more fish and shellfish into the diet, because uh, um, historically it has been shown that folks that have high diets of fish and shellfish live longer and are healthier, because they don't have red meat. And so that's what I've kind of moved over to right now, and adding in chicken and turkey. So I do have red meat maybe once a week at most. I don't have it a whole lot. This week or last week you probably saw that carne asada quesadilla that I made, and that was off of a 2 pound pack, which I cut into quarters. And so each one of those sections were 8 ounces. And 8 ounces of meat is twice that of the USDA recommended. And so for healthy eating, uh, red meat, if you eat red meat, you shouldn't be eating much more than a quarter pound of that, is the recommendation. And that's also the minimum protein recommendation for healthy eating. So having much more than a quarter pound, I even sometimes go up to a half pound of protein. And the reason why I do that, because fish and shellfish do uh, process in your body much quicker, and they tend to be less filling. So I double the protein on fish and shellfish. Uh, Staying away from fried foods could be something, and that's why I have an air fryer, and I now have that pizza oven, so that I'm not deep frying as much. So I won't be buying those expensive cooking oils as much as I have in the past. So these are all dietary things, and also uh, high expensive items in when you go grocery shopping. Red meat is one of the most expensive meats that you can buy out there. A steak is typically starting at $7 a pound, so you figure at least that steak is going to cost you $7. And I remember when steak wasn't too terribly expensive, and there were lots of good low cost cuts of red meat, and that's why I ate a lot of red meat, because it was cheaper back then. But things have changed, and health wise, I have to be very conscious of my diet these days. And along with being healthy and conscious about my healthy eating habits, I also have to be aware of cost. Because, like I said, I go to the grocery store every 2 weeks, or not really going to a grocery store. I'm using Instacart right now, but the fees at Instacart are very reasonable. And if I were to go do the grocery shopping, it would cost me at least the fees that Instacart charges me. And the nice thing is that I don't have to do a Lyft or Uber to go to a grocery store and back. So that saves me right there off the top $30. $30 just for transportation, and I haven't eaten anything. So um, that $30 in Instacart is the service fee and the tip that I include. So um, I'm not losing anything. I'm not really gaining anything, but I am saving time, and I don't have to leave my home. And so, but I do go to a grocery store because there are items on at the grocery stores. They all have a markup on a per item basis, and you can tell those because those that don't have a markup will say in-store pricing on Instacart. And if you don't see in-store pricing at the store that you're about to shop at, uh, go look. Go look, see if there are other stores on there that fit um, in-store pricing. And so that's one of the features that I look for when I shop Instacart. And the other thing is that I'm having mobility issues now because I'm getting old. I've also had some severe injuries when I worked in counterterrorism, and they're coming back to haunt me. I knew that this was going to come towards the latter part of my life, and that I was going to have some pretty severe things to consider when I get to this point. And right now, I'm at that point, and so I have to balance my finances. This year, Social Security raised most people $50. So I had a $50 raise on my Social Security, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're on a fixed income, that $50 is a difference between eating for another 2 or 3 days or going hungry with the prices of groceries these days. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you're not too shocked by the news that I found for you today. Thanks for joining me. We'll be right back.